a sort of, am I live? Sort of tapping the screen to see if they're live. I know I've gone live because Instagram tells me I've gone live, so which is good enough for me. So welcome to another Sunday. It comes round so quickly, doesn't it? Every week it seems to jump on us from a great height, Sunday. So so another Sunday, another pretty good day. I'm looking out here over the most gorgeous sunset. I'm not going to turn the camera around because I don't want you to get all jealous, but the most wonderful sunset from my workshop window. So lots of people joining us, which is lovely to see. I won't be able to mention you all because they spin past me on the screen so really quickly. And also I'm no good at pronunciation on some of the names if it's not somebody who I have seen before. So we have a guest today, of course. Sunday, we love our guests. And as promoted last week and on my posts all week, we have Julie Rothel, an encaustic wax artist. Yes, what is encaustic wax, you're asking? I said that when I first met Julie. What the dickens is encaustic wax? You're going to find out. You're going to find out today, and you're going to be by what Julie can produce from beeswax, basically. So we'll have a chat with Julie, and we'll find out all about her lovely work and how it's all done a little bit later in today's show. You mightn't see, look, a new haircut. Steph and I, as I've mentioned many times, we cut our own hair. Not our own, we cut each other's hair. But we cut, and today was haircut day. And it's always nice because it's a great relief to have your hair cut, especially because I like it nice and short. It grows like Billy-O. I've got no problem with my hair growing, and Steph's as well. So we cut each other's hair. Hello, Claire. Hello, Mark. Hello, Navid. I'm just seeing people. Kyle, I'm sorry if you just zoomed past me and I didn't see you. So it was his haircut this weekend, or yesterday. And normally it goes according to plan, which it did yesterday. I cut Steph's hair first, which is the only difference because she normally does mine first. But she gets quite relaxed in the chair, and I did her hair, and you're sort of doing it, and it looked great. She did mine. Now I have mine in number 4 all over, and then she graduates down 3, 2, 1 at the back here, which is great. And I was sat there in the chair, and she got the clippers again, put the other head on, and went up. And I said, "You've done that?" No, she said, "I'm just going over bits that it didn't catch the first time." And I could hear it bringing a lot of hair off. And I looked over on the table, and the number 4 clipper was sat on the table. She's got a number 3 on. And so I told her, "Oh," she just laughed, actually, which is the part of the course for Steph. The podcast is done today. It's a very busy weekend, haircut and podcast. And the haircut is mentioned in the podcast. And the podcast is up now for all those of you that like to have a little bit of a laugh. But be warned, and I give this warning every week we do the podcast, it is British humour, the podcast, and it's not for everybody. So that's why it carries an explicit rating given to it by Steph and I, not by Amazon, by Apple, or by Spotify, or any of the other podcasts. We give it the explicit rating because it's a bit sweary in parts, but in the best possible taste. So if you thank you. You're commenting on my hair from you little younger to Baldy, which is great. Thanks very much for that. It's the last time I helped you out, Chris Adams. Alexa's been playing up this week. My good old friend Alexa. Hello, Alexa. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, she's been playing up this week. She's been answering when she's not been spoken to, and for no reason from 1 to whatever, and she got to 20. I thought, what she counted from 1 to 24? No idea at all. Work-wise, this is what we're here for, to talk about art and my art. Yes, Claire, drink water. Oh, this goes back to when I set Alexa. I was trying to be good and drink loads more water, and I set Alexa to tell me every hour to drink water. And the first hour I was busy doing something at the computer, and of course she keeps on until you turn her off, saying, "Steve, drink water." And I said, "Oh, God's sake, son off." So I turned it off, never drunk. I have got water today though. So Alexa, weird. Those of you that saw...
I don't know that.
Oh, God. I should turn her off, shouldn't I, really? Shouldn't even talk to her. Those of you that saw my build during the week, I was doing another Slash lamp. Slash, ex-Guns N' Roses lead guitarist, for Slash himself, has asked me to make him the lamp, and it's virtually done, so I'll show you that in a moment. And because we've got the Contemporary Arts Fair coming up at the end of, beginning of March, the first weekend in March, I decided, because it's the first art fair that I've done, and Steph's doing it as well, we've got separate stands, miles apart. Thank you, God.
Sorry, no. I don't know
that
one.
See, I didn't even mention her name, and she starts chatting to me again. Don't keep on, Alexa. Just quiet. So I thought I'm gonna need a few special lamps to show what I can do, and in the guitarist realm, one of my favourite guitarists is obviously going to be Jimi Hendrix. So I've started. You know what it is, and any artist watching will know the feeling here. I came down here earlier on just to because the charging plug on my laptop up at the house had stopped working. In fact, it had burnt out. There was smoke coming from it this morning, and it was burnt out. So I thought, I need just to see if it's the computer that's the charger. So I've got another MacBook down here that I use for work down here. So I brought it down to plug it in to see, and yes, it's just the charger. And of course, that was supposed to be a short visit down to the workshop. And in the half an hour that I was down here, I thought, I should really do a Jimi Hendrix lamp, definitely. And I've got a few pictures printed out already up here from a few weeks back. So within half an hour, I've done a first fit on Jimi Hendrix. You'll see that in a second. So that's what I'll do. I'll show you the lamps now, and then we will go and join our guest. Don't want to keep Julie waiting. Don't want her wax to melt. Okay, so let me turn the camera around. We always say hello to Juliet when we turn my camera around, because of course Juliet, I'll always give a big mention now to my friend Luke at Green Devil Designs, who is a wonderful artist. He transforms old teddy bears and dolls into gothy, interesting, scary stuff. And I bought one because apparently they protect your house from other evil spirits. They're not evil spirits themselves. So let's have a look at Juliet and say hello, Juliet, before we go anywhere else. There she is in the corner there. For those of you who haven't seen Juliet, there she is. Don't know what she was once, but she's something quite eerie now. So Luke from Green Devil Designs, well done, my friend. So let's have a look at Slash. This is the completed Slash lamp that I've done. I haven't got the picture of it, of him now, the one that I worked from, but for those of you who looked on my feed, you'll see the first one I did was for the wonderful Leona Graham, the rock DJ from Absolute Radio. So this is the Slash lamp. All it's missing is his guitar strap here that I haven't had a chance to fix on to the guitar, but that's already there. And his top hat's all painted. Everything's working fine. And I had to remember when making this lamp, of course, that this is going to America. This is going to America. So America, of course, are on a different voltage to the UK. They're on 120, 110, 120 volts. So I had to be careful because the touch sensor switch that I put in here that works on 110 volts. And also because they don't have these wonderful, wide selection of these wonderful bulbs, the Edison filament bulbs, they're nearly all LED over there, I had to make sure that it just was a two-way on and off, which of course it is, on, off. Sensitive lamps have got 3 levels of brightness, but I had to put a different module in this because it's going to America. It's going to Beverly Hills. It's going to be on the sideboard of Slash. Isn't that just wonderful? You're thinking, not really. So there we are. Anyway, that's that. And let me show you the reference picture for Jimi Hendrix, shall we? This is the reference picture that I found of him on stage. What an incredible character. What an incredible performer he was. Incredible artist. So that is the Jimi Hendrix pose. And my first fit is... there he is there. So looking okay, I think. I think that's looking pretty well if I put that in front. Yeah, I think we've got the leg positions about right. And I got a special, the guitar that he actually burnt when he was on stage. He covered a guitar in lighter fuel and set fire to it. So I thought I'd include that guitar because Hendrix fans, they would know that that is the guitar that he did that with. So that is my first fit. My first fit, what I mean, it's a loose fit. It's thank you for your comments, that's lovely. Claire, did you say it was your nephew's birthday or something? Sorry, did I miss that? Let's get back up here. It's my nephew. What's your nephew's name, Claire? Tell me your nephew's name. We'll wish him a happy birthday. So yeah, that's the first fit of Jimi Hendrix. So we will take it all to bits now, unfortunately. All has to come to bits. And then put together with the cable through it, and then paint it, because I'm going to paint in that wonderful black gold, that lovely black gold colour that I've got. So Ben, happy birthday. Let's all sing happy birthday to Ben. Happy birthday to Ben. Happy birthday to Ben. 27th birthday, eh? Yeah. God, that's a memory for me. A distant memory, my 27th birthday. Anything earlier than 50, I struggle to remember. Probably because I was half cut all the time. Who knows? Anyway, let me sit back down because we have come to that time. Let's turn myself around. We come to that time where it's special guest time. Now then, let's do the technology bit and see if we can get ourselves linked up with my special guest, Julie. So I'm going to send her. Makes me feel old. Yeah, you should be so lucky, says Claire. Right then, so some Allen, those little joints in Jimi Hendrix, they'll be changed from the turnkey ones to hexagon. Chris is showing off now because he's making himself a lamp. I've been sort of, not mentoring him, but I've been giving him some guidance on making, I think it's a rifle, a shooting lamp, isn't it? A rifleman. So it's looking good, what he's done so. It's a worry, isn't it? Okay, so let me now invite Julie. So how do we do that? We go that, and we invite to join, and we click to invite. And Amazon, of Apple, and everything else. We will join Julie Rothel, Encaustic Wax artist. Hello, Julie. Look at that. Hey, what timing? Perfect timing. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Very well.
You're okay, are you?
Yeah, I'm just adjusting the volume. Right. Hang on, I'm looking a bit quiet. There we go.
Looking good. Looking good. Yeah, we can hear you.
Excellent.
We can hear you. We can see you. And how do we find you this Sunday? Is there a nice sunset out your window?
It was amazing. I took a photo just before your live. It was absolutely.
Yeah, good, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic sunsets this time of year. I don't know what it is. We're so lucky in this country. I'm sure they get lovely sunsets in other parts of the world, but we just seem to get something like the English countryside and sunset.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's that low winter sun, I think. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, we all need the sun. Yeah, I've been listening to a podcast regularly, which is Susie Dent, who's the lexicographer, the word person off Countdown. Susie Dent is she's just incredible, and she's been doing a podcast with Giles Brandreth, and it's just amazing because one of the words that she's trying to bring back, she tries to bring back old words that don't use anymore, and one of them is apricity. And apricity is the warm feeling of the sun on your back in winter.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that lovely? Apricity. Yeah. So let's all hope we feel some apricity this week. And also confelicity. And confelicity is the happiness in somebody else's joy, which is why we've got you on today. Because we're going to see the joy that you bring to people, and we can all bathe in that joy and enjoy it as well. Before we get into what you do, we want to see a piece of your art, because I'm not going to tell anybody in case they're wondering who you are, what you do. Let's see a piece of art first of all.
Oh, which one to choose? Okay.
Oh, you got so many, have you?
I've got lots around. I don't have one particular style. This is one piece here. So this is a bit more of an abstract. So this has got old letters and old pieces of paper, like, really old, ancient. You get a stack of letters. So I've actually taken photo encaustic techniques and embedded those within layers of wax. I I might do, you know, more of like a, if you can see that.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I've seen that on your website, I think, or
Yeah.
Instagram feed.
Yeah.
So, okay, so beautiful, but then people are going to be amazed when they learn that that is not oils, that is not acrylic, that is not watercolor, it's wax.
It is wax, yes.
I mean, before I met you, and we met through the Blooms Art House Collective, who were a group of artists that got together during the first part of the pandemic to learn how to sell their art online. And you, all 7 of you, 8 of you, have become really close knit. And I'd never heard of Encaustic Wax, and I'm still surprised and amazed by what you can achieve with it.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about the whole technique and how you got into it.
Well, first of all, I think I saw a painting at an exhibition, and you know when something just stops you in your tracks, and I was just like, I was absolutely transfixed. I remember seeing it now. It was on this exhibition stand, and I've just got, I don't know what it is, but I've got to find out what it is and how it works. So, and that was actually that was painting on a paper. I've got many paper pieces. So this kind of, the one I saw was blue.
Oh, wow.
And purples, but it was a bit.
Yeah.
This is actually, those two I showed you earlier were on wooden boards. This was done on a paper.
I mean, that reminds me of rose petals falling down.
Yeah. Do you know what? I put this picture.
That's what I see when I look at that.
I put a post on Facebook recently, actually, this one. And in our house, the Quality Street always get nabbed before I get anywhere near it. And I did finally open up a Quality Street. And oh my goodness, I was like, now I know where my inspiration comes from.
It was there at the back of your mind. All
It was
those
there.
days of eating chocolate. It's there, isn't it?
I know, but anyways, I'd seen this wax painting. I was just like, oh my, just absolutely transfixed me. So I literally studied and studied and studied it. And there's hardly anybody in the UK that paints with it. I've been painting with it for nearly 10 years now, and there's very few of us over here. But it is actually finally becoming more available. So Jackson's Art Supplies have just started supplying. And
is that because it's a difficult technique, or is it because people just don't know about it?
It really died out. It was used by the ancients. It originates about 2,000 years. The ancient Egyptians used it a lot in iconography, and a particular region called the Fayum area. They used to paint mummy portraits. You know, they'd lay them down on the
in wax.
In wax, yeah. The portraiture in it, and then it pretty much died out for years and years, and then it started to see a resurgence because it used a lot of heated electric. Still there, sorry. Yeah, because of the availability of electric heated tools, really saw a bit of a resurgence in the 1960s from then on, really. Really big in Canada and America, and it's coming this way. I've been watching it from afar for years and years, and but it's really catching on in the UK now, and it's becoming really popular. Or much better.
So why do you think it's big? Why do you think it's big in Canada and America then? Is it because they have a more readily supply of wax over there?
Yeah, there's a company, well, there's a few companies out there. I mean, they have so many more suppliers than we did. I started supplying the waxes myself just because of pure frustration, not being able to get them for myself. I mean, I searched high and low for years to get them. So I actually set up supplier accounts, and I used to sell the equipment during my workshops to help people.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a company called R&F that I work with particularly, and they're an American-based company, and it's just been great watching them evolve over the years as well, because every year they get bigger and bigger, and their supply into the UK is it's just becoming more widely available. So yeah, it's just, but you know, it's like, so it grows, doesn't it?
So has your background always been in art of one form or another, or
No,
you just found Encaustic Wax?
No, I always did it as a child, and then, you know, go and get a proper job, all those kinds of things. So, but I went, but that's it. All of those things have been really helpful. So I did a lot of, I did all sorts, from office work to logistics, management. I managed my husband's office for a long time. So all of those skills are kind of transferred back, and did a lot of project management as well. And I loved that. And that was really good. So really, in a way, that's what I'm doing now again, sort of, you know, small mini projects, but in the art field rather than electronic and field that I was doing previously.
Yeah, it uses a different part of your brain, doesn't it? Yeah, this is why I love coming down here from the office. When I worked up in the office doing my publishing work, come down here, different part of your brain
Yeah,
turns on, the other part turns off.
exactly.
So it's not just a case of getting a bit of wax, melting it down and sticking a paintbrush in it. There's more to it than that, I know. But is that basically what you're doing? You're melting wax in a certain way, adding colours to it, and then using it to paint?
Yep. Yep. So there are so many. I always say it's. I think people are a bit afraid of it. They're like, oh, I don't even know where to begin. But actually, it's suitable for any level, really. Well, not tiny children, but so you can do a really basic. So I've got a little craft iron here. I might give you. I've got my hot plate on actually, so I can show you the wax when it's melted. But like this is where people starting very often. Literally this with paper, and you melt the wax on. I might give you a little demo in a minute to see how the interview goes. But yeah, you just apply it on. So literally you can have, this is a fairly, abstract pieces like this. I didn't bring many of those examples out, but that's this kind of style. And you can really, just let the wax do its thing. I mean, once it's molten and hot, the colours will blend. And it's, oh my God, it's gorgeous to put on as well. It's a bit like that same consistency as, like melted chocolate. And it's just, you just get these really...
You can't really go wrong with it, can you? Let's be honest. Because, let me just turn this other light off. That's better. Yeah, you can't really go wrong because you're letting the wax do the work. Obviously, you're directing it with I've seen you with a hairdryer, directing the flow of the wax. But what seeing it on screen here can't show anybody is the depth and the reflection of the lights at different times of the day, because that's the unique thing about wax, isn't it? It's got a refractive index that's so different to any other art medium.
It's just for me, I mean, I just find when I'm putting it on, it just connects with me in such a deep way. It's just, and that just can't help but come through in the painting. And when I used to run a lot of workshops, I've stopped all of that with COVID, the in-person things for the time being. So I've got online tutorials now instead that I've been focusing on. But every time people would come in, they'd be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. I can't paint a straight line. I can't do that. I can't. And you just hear them before they've even begun and just like, sit down and try it. And then once they're going, they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And they're just seeing how...
all of a sudden they'll create something different because the wax will go in a certain way. And then all of a sudden they'll find that what they've created is something that they'll never be able to create again.
Everyone's
all one-offs, aren't they?
But you can really quickly and easily get these really amazing textures. And I always sort of advise people to start really just sort of start on an abstract basis, and then as you evolve over time, you begin to understand, oh, that's how I make that mark. Okay, well but there's so many happy accidents that happen with it. It's almost just like, just get it out on the paper and let it. But as I say, over time you can work out, and then you work out how to kind of, I mean, the abstract style is beautiful, but like portraiture, you work out how to blend together and how to, if you can see that.
Oh, wow.
So,
I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, that's I've got so many there's lots on my website.
That is just incredible.
Yeah, so you can,
because a lot of people who started to watch would think it's just going to be abstract stuff. You can't, surely you can't paint people with it, but you prove that you can.
No, I mean, you can paint any, you paint in any style landscape as you would any other paint. But it takes time to get to that point. But I always say it's as limitless as your imagination as well, because there are so many things you can do with it. I mean, there's this piece here I did, so it's a bit more of an abstract piece. But I mean, this section here, I've actually set fire to this. So you put shellac on it, you light it, and then it creates this amazing effect. So, you can really kind of start really simply, or you can just take it. I mean, if my barking and firing, and I'm like, oh, next thing. But it also layers with a lot of other.
So it's almost like doing a creme brulee, wasn't it, with that then?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just so fun to do. And then also the other thing that happens with it as well is when you're painting in layers and you've got multiple layers, as you heat the wax, and like if you're doing a portrait, you think you've got the basics there, but when you heat, you have to fuse with it. So I've got this hot air gun, and you have to fuse each layer, and that basically creates a bond. So you you build up in layers. So you kind of paint your portrait or whatever it is you're painting, but then you have to fuse it. Well, that makes the whole surface go liquid and molten, and then you just watch the pigments, and they keep on moving until they've solidified. So you're just sitting there like, oh my god, I'm watching paint dry again. But it's
literally watching paint dry.
Beautiful though, and just watching the movement, you're not exactly sure, you know roughly where it's going to go, but you're not exactly sure, and it's just the most lovely thing to paint with, in my view. And I don't really use any other mediums now apart from with wax. I've got loads of other mediums, but I tend to use them with the wax because you can do multimedia pieces, and I'll often use a lot of multimedia.
God, I've got so many questions here. Going back to what you said about, I'll tell you what, show us a technique or two, can you? Because then I can ask my questions when you've shown us, because I want to know why it doesn't, when you put the gun on it, doesn't it just all melt and run off the page? You know, so.
So this is my hot plate that I've got fired up at the moment.
Right.
So I don't know if you can see that. Can see?
So
yeah, I've got it's beautiful. It's like an A2 sized hot plate. So sometimes I'll melt the wax directly. Hang on, so I've got a wax block here.
Yeah.
So sometimes
talk us through what you're doing, Julian, and so that's just beeswax. Is it coloured beeswax?
So this is wax with a Damar resin and pigments. So this is this brand, the RNF brand that I use, and this enables you to build up. The Damar raises the melting point, and it makes the wax much more durable. So that is how that works. Can you see? So then I'm basically just painting as I would if this was any other paint at this point. So I've been, I won't paint live as such because...
I'm just going to answer the question here. No, Claire, we all seem to be okay here. Claire was saying she has to keep rejoining because it keeps going off. But no, we're okay. We're not losing. I don't think anybody else is losing.
So it sounds okay from my end. I did have one phone call at one point, but that's gone now.
So you've melted that. Can you over-melt it? Can you?
Yeah, and then so all I would do here is, I'd take a different colour and I would blend. So this is and then you just paint it on as you would any other piece. So what I've been doing here is I'm actually using some different. I've got some new waxes and I've been testing. So this is a portrait that I'd started. How well you can see this?
Yeah, you see it very well.
Yeah, so this is actually on watercolor paper, really thick quality watercolor paper, which is great for sort of. Let's say I've just started on some test runs really on the color, but I'm a bit nervous about putting. Go on, I'll give it a go. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't got my reference piece here, but say I then this is completely the wrong color now probably, but nothing's spoiled with this because you can go back and adjust it.
Yeah,
but I would, and this is obviously a very very small piece that I'm practicing on. So what I would then do once I've put and I'd obviously paint a much larger area than that, but once I've done that, I then get my heat gun. This might be a bit noisy for a minute, so I'll hold the heat gun back here a little way.
Okay.
And I heat it, and what this is doing is it's fusing one layer of the wax onto another.
Right, so you've melted it first of all on the hot plate. You've mixed the colour you want. You then transferred it, and of course, all this time the wax is obviously setting because it sets quite quickly, doesn't it? Yeah,
it's cooling. Yeah, exactly. It's solidifying. So, and this is really quite molten at the moment, so it holds its heat for quite a long time. And I could actually, I can go in with a paintbrush here and still move it around. I can scratch back.
And that's due to the resin in it, is it? That's due to the resin that allows it to stay molten for a bit longer?
No, some people would paint with beeswax. That really the resin just helps it with durability once it's hardened and solidified. So I mean that's completely the wrong colours. So I'll say this is me talking and not concentrating. No, but you can scratch back.
Lovely to see the technique. So you're building up layers, so you really can get depth to your work with different layers of waxing, can't you?
Absolutely. I mean, this piece is on a piece I don't normally paint on watercolor paper, but because it was a test piece for the colors, I don't know if you can see in different places. Some places it's quite thin. I don't know if I'm going to catch the light now.
So that's still a test piece. That's not a piece that you're going to frame and sell. Then that's still a test piece.
Well, we'll see how she comes out. But for the time, it started off as a test piece. But some pieces are really quite thick, and then other pieces are quite thin. So, but on a wooden piece such as this one here. she really is quite thick in terms of.
Well, the colour on that is so rich and
Oh,
deep.
they
The
are.
depth you've got in there, the
Yeah.
depth of colour,
Yeah.
just incredible.
And I love adding these little touches of turquoise and just sort of different colours that you don't necessarily
Well,
see.
you can, because everybody reflects light off their skin of different colours. We don't realise.
Yes.
You know, we all reflect different light. So if you do make a mistake and it's too thick, anything you can do to rectify that?
Absolutely. So I've got my scrapey tool here. So I could literally scrape all of that back off now. And also that's a really nice technique as well for if you on an abstract piece. Let me find. So for example, this piece that I did earlier, and I'm not going to go into this because it's finished now, but what I can do once that is it's not molten, it's cooled enough so that it's not molten, but you can actually then scrape back and you'll reveal the layers underneath. So you get a lot of depth.
So you can make really good, real lovely effects with that.
Absolutely. Actually, this piece is quite good at showing that. So you can kind of allow the colour underneath to kind of show through. So yeah, it's so versatile. And then I'm going to, if you've got time, I'll show you very quickly.
Yes,
what I paint, because this style.
I'll just address one or two comments.
Yeah, no worries.
A lot of love for your stuff, Julie. A lot of love coming through. Someone was just joined. For those of you that have just joined, what we're talking to Julie here about is encaustic wax painting. So basically, it's a little used technique in this country of using beeswax combined with resin and dyes to produce a real interesting way of painting, building up layers of wax. So it really is painting with coloured wax, but it gives an amazing effect when it's on the wall, doesn't it, with reflecting of the light and the depth of perspectives to the colours and to the. You can probably how deep can you go? I mean, what's the sort of maximum you would go in making a layer?
Some of the wooden support pieces that I have, you know, if you've got a decent quality support that you're working on, I mean, you can go 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 layers if you wanted to. I mean, how much of that you're going to start seeing through, but you go as deep as you like.
Yeah.
But actually, you can get some really nice techniques because also what you can do is you can carve into it. So often, you know, like lino cut tools.
Yes.
That are quite a deep. You get some amazing effects, and you just get these stripes and little glimpses of shape and pattern as you kind of carve. So you almost kind of carve when it's at the right temperature. You can kind of carve through it and get these amazing layers come through. It's beautiful. So yeah, really versatile.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
So now you've got this. You mentioned you do workshops. Are they back and running now after COVID? I know we're still in COVID, but
yeah. No, I'm not doing in-person ones anymore. I had at last 2020, I had some art retreat weeks all set up and scheduled, and people booked in, and then they just never happened, obviously. And I've actually moved out of my studio since then. And actually, we've currently got a house on the market, and we're looking to move back to Cornwall, which is where I grew up. So when I get back down there, at the minute I'm working from home, so I'm not running in-person workshops at the moment. But once I'm down there, I will have my Arty Heaven studios set up, and we'll be back on work again. But in the meantime,
and that's your website, isn't it? artyheaven.com.
It is,
your website.
I know, which is a bit different to Julian's Gallery. It used to be Julianne's Gallery, but I kept getting inquiries about kind of put my artwork in your gallery, and it was like, this isn't kind of going down the
right. People have the wrong idea. Yeah, it's your gallery, not theirs.
I know. I caught up with my all of my usernames, but because I'm Julianne, it's fine. So
no doubt people watching this will be inspired by the encaustic wax and want to have a go themselves.
Yeah.
What would you say would be the first point of call for them? To look at your YouTube videos, or do a bit of research?
My homepage on my website, you'll see some examples there at the beginning, but I've got lots and lots of online courses and tutorials on there. I've actually got, if you buy them all in a bundle, this is the best way to buy them, and then you've kind of got all the techniques covered. But it depends what you want to do.
I always see you can buy your courses online, right?
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah. Well, I never really dreamt of doing online courses, but I had so many people, for some reason, a lot of them were up north in England when I first started. And they're like, I just wish you were closer. I really want to learn how to do this. So I did my first online course, and suddenly I hadn't even, I'd just been talking to these people from up north, and lovely people. We really created it for them. And then suddenly I had a sale in America and Malta, and then out in, all these different Scandinavian countries. And oh, of course, it's an online course. It can, it can cover.
Can go anywhere, can't it? Yeah. But they have to be able to get the materials where they are, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah. But again, this is the thing. The materials are getting a lot more widely available, but also you can. So one of the things I cover on there is, because when I started in the UK, there were next to no art materials with this at all. I could literally get the beeswax and the resin. I used to make my own medium, encaustic medium it's called, and then add my own colours to it. So like one of the courses literally shows you exactly how I did that from scratch. So you can mix the waxes. You can use oil paints if you can't get the proper encaustic wax materials, wax and oil paint. You need to go through a process to get it to the right consistency. You can use powdered pigments, wax. So this is what I'm saying. It really fits and mixes in with multimedia. But even you can go for a walk. I often press dry leaves, dried flowers, things like that, and I'll just layer them within wax. So you don't actually need to have necessarily and that was really born out of necessity in the early days when I couldn't get the supplies at all. But that's
You're really only limited by your imagination, aren't you? Really.
100%, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's
so. From what we've seen, you showing us what to do. There's no huge expensive equipment because you can get the hot plates. I'm sure you can pick them up second hand, and just watching you do it there, it's a very simple. If you've got the wax, it's a short jump between having the wax and a hot plate and actually making a mark on the paper and starting. So it's not as though you have to have a huge easel and lots of expensive paints.
No, and you can jump in at either end, but I literally started it off. I wasn't sure that it was something that I wanted to commit to, so I actually started off pretty much on a shoelace or bootstring kind of thing, and then I just built it over time. And now I've got all of the stuff and all the equipment, but hot plates you can pick up something on Amazon for anywhere, for Tesco's or whatever, for I think 15 quid for a hot plate or something. But you've got to be careful and things. Brilliant. But I love this one I've got now because it's got the beautiful thing with it is you've got a really steady, constant thermostat, and I'm never worried about my wax overheat. You have to be careful they don't overheat because they can smoke. Or they think they could eventually get to a flash point. Not that I've ever got to that point, but yeah. But
and what about the smell? Is there a lovely smell of wax that you get?
Oh, I love it in here. Yeah, it's just you do. You need with the style with the Damon resin, you need fairly good ventilation. I've got the windows closed at the minute because obviously I've had the road outside, otherwise the traffic noise. But you need a good airy room to be working in with the higher heat waxes with the Damon resin. But the smell is just I would just walk into this studio room and it is.
Gorgeous smell. And that must. So where does your inspiration come from for new pieces?
It's very intuitive led with me. I rarely sit down. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes I've got a very clear idea of what it is I'm coming to sit down and create or do. But I just let the wax guide me, and then as I'm painting, once I've started the process, it's almost like something will come to me, and that's what and then it's like, oh, now I know what the next step is. But it's almost like stepping stones. It kind of comes as I'm painting rather than me sitting. I'm really not. I don't like doing repetition either. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again. It has to be something.
Well, the chances of repeating it is nigh impossible, isn't it?
You would never get two exactly the same, even if you tried. I mean, there are some that do that have that effects in, but I just like that freshness of something new each time, and every painting brings something new through with me. So that tends to be the inspiration behind it. But also, as I say, it's during the painting of a picture, I'll either see something that I'm like, I'm going to build on that now, and that's what the next thing is. Obviously, if I'm doing a portrait, then I've got a clear reference point that I'll kick off with. But very often with the abstract thing, go with the flow.
Talking about your portraits, do you then do commissions then for if somebody wants something done in encaustic wax? Can you take commissions?
I can do. Yeah, yeah, I do. And I have done that. I mean, you're not going to. It's not the style of painting that you're going to get an absolute photographic
No,
representation of, or of an inner spirit kind of thing, or an essence that comes through it, rather than. But yeah, I'm always really happy to talk to people about. I've got a commissions page on my website, so if people want, people are sometimes specific, and often with the layered work, you can layer. Well, you can pretty much layer anything in there. So it's really nice creating things that are really sentimental and special to people. So that's I love doing that. And actually it's really nice. I worked with a lady before Christmas, and she kind of gave me free rein, more or less, when she told me the key bits she wanted to put in, and then I just sort of went with it, with the rest of it, and it was amazing. She loved it. It's just
good. It's always nice, isn't it, when a customer loves what you produce?
Yeah, I know. And actually what I find as well, I'm experiencing more and more, is my part of it is really only about half of the story, because actually when they feedback it means to them, I mean, it's way beyond beyond what I would be able to kind of create on my own thing, and hearing their stories of it.
But that's the thing about art, isn't it, Julie? That's the thing about art, is that whether, especially the more abstract art, is that the customer completes the narrative. They see it's maybe totally different. You've got an idea of why you're doing that, why you put the extra layer on. They might see something totally different that they love about it, and you hadn't even noticed it.
Yeah, totally. No, that's right. So
wonderful. Well, it's been great talking to you, Julie. I know we talked when we were at the Blooms, but we never had a chance to have a real good chat about your art. Normally I'm sort of hosting the Blooms show and making sure you got your show reel running, and your hair's all done properly. And I know I'm going to say this. You texted me before we came on air saying, "Don't worry, I won't have my head in the towel." Every time I've ever seen Julie, she's actually just come out the shower, got her head in the towel. Lastminute.com, Rathel.
Well, it's how I sound check. I do that. I make sure that I'm all set up, and then I go and
That's
get ready.
right.
Got little time if there's a problem.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's been a wonderful time with you this afternoon, Julie. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Wish you well. Keep us up to speed with what you're doing. We'll all check out your Instagram page and your Facebook page and your website. I'll put all those details on the comments.
Lovely.
And good luck. And I hope that next time we meet, are we meeting up soon? We are, aren't we? At a show. Are we? Are you a part of that?
Contemporary Art Fair, isn't it? No, I'm just coming down to visit and view the art. Actually a part of the
That's
show.
it. Yeah. No, but we'll be able to meet up, won't we?
We're coming down.
Be nice.
See you in the evening. Yeah.
We will touch elbows and say hello.
Yeah.
Take care, Julie. Thanks for joining me. Good.
Much.
Bye. You have to take yourself off, because for some reason I can't get rid of you. Not that I ever would want to get rid of you, but
got to work it out. Okay. This one at the top. All right. See you soon.
I know there used to be an X that I could remove my guests, but I can't.
Oh, so you mean I could sort of squat and just refuse to move? That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
I could say more about what you do at contemporary art fairs if you wanted, but we shan't go into that.
See you soon. Take care.
Bye. Oh, there we are. No, I hate having to say that. Don't know what's happened with Instagram. When you've got a guest on, you can't remove your guest when they finish. You have to ask them. It's awfully embarrassing. Can you just take yourself off, please? I want to continue. Wasn't that wonderful? Wasn't that just fab? Learning all about encaustic wax and an artistic medium you probably never heard of. I'd never heard of it. That you could actually, and I kept bees. Steph and I kept bees. We had 2 hives here and all the wax and everything, but I never thought that you could paint with wax. Just shows. And what I love about it is it's such an old art form. She was saying way back, probably in Egyptian times, they used to do wax pictures of the mummies, and how wonderful. I'm glad we don't do that with our people that passed away today. We'll just, but great. Anyway, a few comments there. Russell, hello. Russell, I hadn't seen you. Well, I did see you jump in earlier on. Claire Jules, get off my show. Yeah. Buzz off. Stop being rude. Stop being rude, everybody. It's not nice. But it's been great this afternoon. I would love to learn about a new art form. Love to speak to a new artist. Not a new artist, but an artist I haven't spoken to on here before. And for some reason, Julie had missed missed my clutches earlier on when I first started doing these. So I'm glad we've had her now and learnt all about that wonderful art form. Please follow her on Instagram, Facebook. Check out our website. Look at the wonderful, and just remember, you're looking at wax, painting with wax. So you now know how you could do it. So you'll all want to have a go. So I'm going to go and do the vegetables for tonight's meal. And there we are. That's what I'm going to do. So thank you very much for joining me on this Sunday. Hope you're all going to keep well, and wherever you are in the world, be nice, be kind to each other. We are, after all that we've got. So hopefully, if the good Lord pleases and the creeks don't rise, you can join me next Sunday.